Evet, herkese merhaba. Hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Umarım sesim iyi geliyordur diye düşünüyorum. Ee, Bayağı da tanıdık isimler de görüyorum. Bir yandan kontrol ediyorum katılan kişileri de yan taraftan. Tekrardan hoş geldiniz. Bugün sizlerle birlikte Turtle AV hakkında, markamız hakkında tüm gelişmeleri, tüm güncellemeleri öğreneceğiz. Bize bu webinarımızda da Turtle'dan sevgili Chris White eşlik edecek. Onun bize bir sunumu olacak. Hem bugün Turtle markasının vizyonunu, teknoloji tercihlerini, Dante AV'nin AV sektörüne neler katabileceğini, neler kattığını ve Turtle'ın bu doğrultuda neleri kullanıcılarına sunduğunu tek tek üzerinden geçeceğiz. Bunu yaparken tabii ki hiç çekinmeden sorularınızı sorabilirsiniz. Chat bölümü üzerinden, sohbet tarafı üzerinden sorularınızı yazabilirsiniz. Bazılarını sunum esnasında direkt olarak cevaplayacak olabiliriz. Bazılarını ise sunumun sonuna da bırakabiliriz. Fakat hepsi cevaplandırılacaktır kısacası. Dolayısıyla lütfen çekinmeyin sorularınızı yazmak konusunda. Gördüğüm kadarıyla zaten çok dediğim gibi tanıdık isimlerle buradayız. O yüzden kendimi çok tanıtmama gerek yok. Ama yine de hani prosedür gereği ismim Bilgehan Çoruhlu. Yaklaşık 8 senedir MediaCast bünyesinde çalışıyorum. Şu anda da ürün müdürü olarak aslında devam ediyorum görevime ve biz bu süreç içerisinde şu an yapmış olduğumuz gibi kendi partnerlerimiz için birçok online webinar düzenliyoruz. Gerek markalarımızı tanıtmak, gerek zaten tanıyanlara güncel teknolojilerini ve imkanlarını sunabilmek adına. Ve bu webinarlarımızı sürekli devam ediyor olacak. Dolayısıyla sizlerle tekrar tekrar görüşmeyi çok da arzularım. Onu da söylemiş olayım. Çok fazla sizleri de bekletmeyelim. Ortalama 1 saat gibi sürecek webinar. E, Daha fazla da dediğim gibi bekletmeden konuğumuzu da çağırıyorum. Tabii ki konuğumuzun yabancı olması gereği webinar İngilizce olacak. Fakat ara ara can alıcı noktalarda ben sizlere hani ihtiyaç duyanlara bazı açıklamalar Türkçe olarak yapıyor olabileceğim ve sorularınızı tabii Türkçe sorabilirsiniz, İngilizce sormak zorunda değilsiniz. Ben onları konuğumuza iletip cevaplarını tekrardan Türkçe'ye çeviriyor olacağım. O zaman daha fazla zaman kaybetmeden ben konuğumuzu çağırıyorum. Hi Chris, how are you today?
Hi, Bill. I'm very good, thank you.
So Chris, so we are so excited to have you here, and so I know that you are already prepared well, because I should warn you, we our partners have a lot of questions most of the time, and then we can answer all of them, I guess. Are you comfortable with that?
We will certainly try. That's no problem.
Okay, perfect then. So Chris, first of all, I want you to introduce yourself to our audience, and then we can continue with your presentation, I believe. I'm leaving you with our audience, so you can introduce yourself to them.
It's fine. Thank you, Bill. So as Bill said, my name is Chris White. I am the European manager for Turtle AV. But I've been in the industry, I've been in the communications and AV industry since university, which is 30 years ago now. And I've worked for myself, I've worked for installation companies, and most recently working for ZV and Kramer. So I joined Turtle nearly 12 months ago. So early June, I joined Turtle last year.
Oh, perfect. So let's not wait so much. So the first question of mine, I will come to you. We all know that the AV industry is like, I don't know, evolving really fast. And then for the last period, last, I don't know, couple of years, so AV over IP is like became one of the necessities on the for the projects and stuff. But meanwhile, there are many different protocols in the AV. But I know that Turtle decided to go with the Dante AV specifically. So can you start with for that vision, why Turtle decided to go with the Dante AV instead of any other protocol? So can we start from there?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, so we chose Dante because it is so well known within the environment already. I mean, Dante's been around for 20 years as an audio standard. So about 3 years ago, Dante brought out their AV standard, but it just made the most sense to apply that to an AV over IP solution. We know that Dante's unique in its position that although it's a product and a brand in its own right, there are so many manufacturers. There are 600 different manufacturers making thousands of different products within the Dante environment that it has become an open standard that everybody uses and adopts. And because of that reason, we looked at the AV because obviously we're using a standard Ethernet network. We limit it, so we only need a standard gigabit Ethernet. We don't need to go anything larger than 1 gig. We have the interoperability of the Dante environment. So whilst our products our Dante AV products, they obviously communicate and work very happily with the traditional Dante audio products. And everybody knows its controller. There's no point in us inventing and designing our own controller software and servers or anything else when Dante is just such a well-known environment to be able to work and live in. Obviously, Dante synchronization. The synchronization clocks within Dante AV piggyback off exactly the same clocks that are used for the audio. It's a very flexible solution, allows us to route audio in and out completely separately to the video side. And it's very cost effective. As we already know, Dante is a very cost effective solution. So it dramatically reduces the cost of deployment and applications.
Oh, interesting. So I can understand why you choose Dante, but meanwhile, I have another question as well. According to my memory, I remember that even Dante AV has different different models, different Dante AV types in their arsenal. So which one did you choose? As I can remember, it's one of them you are working with really well.
Yes, yeah, there is, Bill. So there are 3 different standards. Sorry, I have to get my hands into shot. There are 3 different standards within Dante AV, and I don't know why, but they are not interoperable. So if you choose one product line, that's it. You have to have receivers and transmitters at both ends that are the same standard. But the 3 different standards are Dante Ultra, Dante AVA, and Dante AVH. Dante Ultra is the one that most of the camera manufacturers have chosen at this moment, and that's because it's a very flexible protocol and way of doing things, because you can make it uses an FPGA chip. So an FPGA chip means field programmable group array, I think, off the top of my head, but it means you can program it to do several different things. So it makes sense for a manufacturer that isn't that wants a flexible standard to be able to use an FPGA solution. So one day it could be sold as a grouped solution that allows, and you can then program it to be a Dante standard or a Bolin ring-fenced standard or a different standard. They all run at 4K, 444, 60 frames, so that's not an issue. But by its nature, FPGA chips are expensive, but also very, very power hungry. So if we look at some of our competitors, their lowest power consumption products start at around 16 to 20 watts per device. And I'll give you a reason why we chose the other product in a minute. So then we have Dante AVA as a standard, and this is the standard that we've adopted with our products. And there's 2 reasons for it. One, it still provides us with 4K 60 frame 444 capabilities and single frame of latency if we maintain resolution all the way through the system. But its big feature is, because it is a chip designed uniquely to do this job, it is very it's very low on power consumption. So we're down at 7 and 8 watts for our devices. Now, when we talk wattages, nobody really understands, or nobody really can calculate what that means in power and cost of electricity. But we do the maths for projects, so we can support you with and the customer and your clients with all of this. 100 devices running for 5 years, which is a fairly typical university application. At 8 watts, we are 1 million Turkish lira cheaper than at 20 watts.
So
Just
we
in
can
electricity costs.
okay, we can basically say that with the AVA you are making the products more affordable, meanwhile more sustainable in expenses, right? So
Correct.
it means
Yes.
that exactly. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yes.
I see.
And then at the bottom end, we have the Dante AVH solution, which is again a software on chip SoC solution, but it is based in the lower, sort of slightly larger latency, far lower bandwidth H.265, H.264 solution. It's great for digital signage and sports bars, but not where you want the quality of 4K and you need a latency of a frame or two.
I see. I understand. That's perfect. So then I will ask you a question about the what comes after. So I mean, what solutions Turtle started to solve with the Dante AVA to us?
So with the Dante AVA, well, sorry, we missed a screen. So there's let's start with this. This is the routing table that we're all used to within Dante. That we're all used to, but all we're doing within the video side is adding an extra column for the video transmitter and an extra row for the video receiver, and it is just a tick box. So in terms of control and understanding how to control or manage the system, if your guys have been using Dante audio for the last 5, 10, 20 years, then it's a very easy application for you to add video to the environment, because you'll understand how to control it and route it. But in terms of our control platforms, so we have 3 different types of transmitter and a single type of receiver. All of our receivers are capable, all of our product is capable of true 4K, so 2160 by 6444. One of the unique things about the chipset allows us to run HDR, so Dolby Vision and 12-bit video. And the rest of the products are sort of tick boxes, because everybody else within the AV over IP world can do the same sort of thing. So HDCP compliant, JPEG 2000 as a latency system. We can cope with Dolby Atmos, 7.1 channel, True HD, and all those sort of things. Again, uniquely, the receiver has the capability of receiving audio back into it on its HDR path, HDMI path, so it can work with ARC, eARC, as well as SPDIF and audio returns. And another unique feature is the transmitters and receivers can cope with KVM and hotkey control as well.
Oh, perfect. It looks like really great. I mean, so as I can see, so this is so much versatile product, by the way. These are, let's say, the Shazy products, let's say. But in the same time, I have a really important question here. Because when I look to all these projects in past years that I've worked on for the AV industry, one of the most important thing in the AV projects is like the controlling the devices, like the central management, or automation, or this type of the stuff that is really required on all the AV installations. So do we have any solution on that with the AV products?
Absolutely. And it's actually one of the products that that made me want to join Turtle. I actually approached Turtle and said, I want to come and work for you, rather than them reaching out to me. So the key product that makes the biggest difference to our product offering is what we call our Chazy control platform. And this it looks like everybody else's control platform, but the unique thing is it has Dante controller built into it. So you don't need to have a PC running on site to be able to manage or monitor the Dante network. This box is PoE, and it just sits on the same Dante network, builds you the routing table that we saw in a few slides ago, and that's your point of contact. Fully open API, and we have drivers for both QSys and Crestron available now. And then later last year, we launched the Control Pro box, and Control Pro can do a few things that really make it stand out. The key feature within the Dante environment is we can build presets within the routing table, within the Dante routing table, and save them internally. So if you've got a large environment where you've got 20, 30, 50 different Dante products, rather than having to route them manually every time you want to change the orientation of a room or the configuration for that environment, you can actually just save a preset for an orientation that says, say, the auditorium's looking to the north. But then the next day you might want an orientation that looks to the east. You could have those preset in the Control Pro, and it's one line of command to call that different orientation.
So as I can understand, like the with the Control Pro, so you can easily set the scenarios, different scenarios of the routing, and then with one command or one click or whatever it is, so it can change all the routing according to your preset, right?
Correct.
So I
Yes.
understand it correct. Okay, perfect. So all these devices can be usable with the automation products like the Extron, Crestron, or
Yes.
with the API at the same time. What you
Yes.
said, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so before the other question, let me do a little bit summary for our audience. So what we have talked until here. So is it okay for you? So can I
Absolutely.
make
Yeah.
you wait a little bit?
I'll just move on to this is just our management platform. But yes, absolutely, Bill, go for it.
Okay, perfect. Şöyle. Arkadaşlar bir yandan da ben hani ara ara böyle ufak ufak özetler vermek istiyorum ki hani arada önemli bir şey kaçırmayalım hep beraber diye. Tabii ki birçoğunuz zaten hakimsiniz hem bu tarz ekipmanlara hem de bu tarz teknolojilere. Şu an aslında Turtle'ın neden Dante üzerinde yoğunlaştığı, Dante AVA üzerinde yoğunlaştığını birazcık konuştuk. Hem erişilebilir olması hem daha sonrasında da güç tüketimi ve masraflar açısından da çok aslında nasıl anlatayım? Cost efektif olması, Türkçesinin benim aklıma gelmedi şu anlık. Konuştuk ve ilk aslında karşımıza çıkan ürünleri Shazy grubu ürünler. Tamamen hem videonun hem audio'nun bir arada bulunduğu Dante protokolleri ilerleyen çift taraflı işte enkod dekod işlemlerinin yapıldığı, hatta yeri geldi işte Dolby Atmos'a kadar farklı ses, audio düzeneklerini standartlarını karşıladığı sistemler, wall plate'inden rack sistemlerine kadar. Bir yandan da hani bunların AV entegrasyonlarında yönetilebilmesi için bazı central merkezi kontrol üniteleriyle birlikte gelmesi, bir yandan bu kontrol ünitelerinin API'ler üzerinden çalışabiliyor olması, böylece kodlanabilir olacak olması, bir yandan da farklı AV markalarıyla, AV otomasyon çözümleriyle, işte bizim en meşhurları ülkemizdeki bildiğiniz gibi Extron, Crestron gibi çözümlerle de ortak API'ler üzerinden çalışabiliyor olması. Böylece hani kurulan, yapılan herhangi bir ağı, herhangi bir projeyi rahatlıkla yönetilebilecek olmasını konuştuk. Sorularınız varsa lütfen çekinmeden sohbet bölümüne yazın. Biz ara ara onları konuğumuza soruyor olacağız. Okay, I'm back, Chris, and you're back as well. So the next question is about you were about to talk about the interface, right? So I just interrupted you.
No,
Okay.
it's fine. It's just a sort of typical screen of the
Okay.
separate to the Dante environment. We have obviously our management box allows us to do all of the setups and routing and commissioning of the system all within the same environment. So that's all.
So perfect. Then my next question is all about the references. So whenever we have any project or any partner event or any partner meeting, so even with the customer, so when we talk about the solutions as well, people wants to see the references. People wants to see the case studies, the user stories, and
Yes.
they're constantly asking this type of things. So my question is, can you give us any some examples about the with the Shezi and the central management units projects? So do you have anything to share with us?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the challenge obviously is that we're 18 months old as a startup company, so reference points that we have are coming. We certainly have case studies on our website and things like that. But I thought it was easier to explain how we can use the Dante environment to our benefit in the rooms. So the first case study is definitely sort of the commercial and educational aspect of the marketplace, and Dante is a really nice product for using within what we call divisible spaces. So it's a room, as you can see in this image, it's a room that could be 3 separate small lecture spaces, but equally you take the walls out and you've got a large conference space. But how do you cope with that in a control environment in terms of both audio and video? And Dante lends itself perfectly to that, because we can have Dante video pushing video independently to the 3 screens, or in a big room globally to all the screens, and we can do the same with the audio environment. So and with the Control Pro capability of presetting and recalling those different configurations, you could literally have an environment that said small room environment, big room environment, and you wouldn't even need a control system. You could just have a relay switch or a room presence detector that would indicate how the room is being used. In other examples, I've got 4 universities at the moment here in the UK who are doing tests with a system. One university has adopted us, and they're using it for their teaching spaces, teaching and learning spaces. So in this image down, get my mouse moving. So in this image here, this is actually from Sheffield University, with their old AV over IP solution that they were using, but the concept is exactly the same. So the lecturer can present to all of the desks, and every desk space will host 8 students, and each desk space has their own monitor and screen. So the lecturer can present to all of the screens, so no students are trying to in an awkward position to view what's going on. But then he can press a button on the control system. I think they're a QSIS house. He can press a button on the control system, and all the screens then become a bring your own device environment. So the 8 students on one desk can then work on a project together using that screen. Where it gets really clever is what they can then do is, if the lecturer is finding that students are doing anything in a different way, or have got a different train of thought going, he can then push what they're doing on their table to all the other tables, to have a larger group discussion about the direction and the ideas and things like that. Where it gets really interesting is Sheffield Uni now have 5 rooms configured like this. So actually one lecturer can present to 5 different rooms at the same time, which from a university perspective actually saves them money, because they're only having to use the lecturer once, not 5 times into 5 different rooms.
Oh, that's interesting as well.
Which is very interesting, because then you can start to involve other departments within the university in terms of their financial costs, rather than just the technology.
Perfect. So then, okay, these are really interesting use cases. So even if we want to see more, so we can access them from the website of Turtle AV, right? So we
There are
can see all the
case
use
studies
cases.
on our website, and obviously we're producing them all the time. But if any of the viewers want to find out more about the universities, then I'm happy to have a separate conversation with you and them.
Oh, perfect. Just really perfect. So then, some things comes up to my mind, because when I first learned Dante was an audio for all the industry before. So it was only audio, and then they recently, not recently, maybe it's 2018 or something, I'm not remember well, maybe they started to work on the Dante AV. So they merged the audio with the video. But since Dante is like more accepted by the audio users, professional audio users, and then the question comes up to my mind, does Turtle give us any solution from the audio side, not the AV side we are talking about?
Absolutely. Yes, we do. And in fact, you've got some in front of you there as well. So yes,
Yes.
or let me just get through to the right screen. So
Yeah.
yes, we have our own line of what everybody knows as Avios adapters. So we have our own product line of Avios adapters.
Please.
Phoenix, yeah, PoE, and they have both, we have line in, line outs on a Euroblock. We have XLR in and XLR out on XLRs, obviously. They use the Ultimo chipset, so they're exactly the same chipset as Dante use with their Avios adapters, balanced and unbalanced. We operate to us, we build them to a sample rate of 96 kilohertz, which is slightly unique. Certainly the Avios ones don't are pegged to 48 kilohertz. And uniquely, we actually have adjustable pots on the front of the devices with various trim levels. So we have 5 different attenuation levels physically on the outside of the unit for you to be able to use and almost on the fly adjust the levels or very quickly adjust the levels for what you want. And then we also have 2 slightly more unique products, and they are a dual channel 2x2 USB-C device. So that is 2 channels in and 2 channels out on USB-C at the same time. So this is perfect that it's perfect for them to be able to do sort of podcasty work and mixing on PCs and things like that. And then we have a Bluetooth device as well that is controllable via the USB-C port. So it doesn't have an API on the network, but it's PoE powered. But on the USB-C, you can rename the device, turn pairing on, turn pairing off, and things like that.
These are really interesting products, by the way. Can I ask you something about this? Because one of our attendees are warning the audience about the dual USB channel I/O units. They cannot do encoding and decoding the 2 channels at the same time, it says.
Correct.
So
So
is it
you
right?
buy an input device or you buy an output device.
Yes,
They
they
are
are
not
either
they're
input
not.
or
But
output.
we
Okay.
have a product. There's a slide coming up that will actually answer that question and develop. It's a different sized housing, but we do have that in a different housing as well.
Okay, so can I do a little bit of explanation here, because I believe that these 2 Bluetooth and USB devices can change many things in the projects, and it can be an easy solution for everything. I will explain a little bit in Turkish. So like 30 seconds I need.
That's
So
fine.
evet, şöyle arkadaşlar, şu ana kadar tabii ki hani video tarafını konuştuk, birazcık audio tarafından da bahsediyoruz. Az önce ekranda gördüğünüz basit audio adaptörleri, şu an elimde gördüğünüz gibi olan, birazcık böyle şey gibi oldu, pazarda gösteriyormuş gibi oldu ama olan adaptörlerin normal tabii herkesin aşina olduğu, gerek Audin'den gerek başka yerlerden aşina olduğu adaptörlere benzemesine rağmen birçok farklı özellikle geliyor. Özellikle iki şeyi, XLR ve Euroblock ya da Phoenix bağlantı dediğimiz adaptörler dışında özellikle 2 modeli çok fazla aslında sektörde ilgi çekebilecek modellerden olduğunu düşünüyoruz ki bunlardan bir tanesi USB-C dönüştürücü, bir tanesi ise Bluetooth dönüştürücü. Yani artık siz bir adaptör sayesinde Dante Network'ünüze Bluetooth'tan bağladığınız herhangi bir sesi aktarıyor olabilir ya da USB üzerinden ister input ya da ister output olarak kullanarak da artık Dante Network'üne giriş yapabiliyorsunuz, sinyalinizi aktarabiliyorsunuz. Bunu da söylemeden geçmek istemedim. O zaman hemen Chris'e geri dönüyorum. Chris, we are with you again. So we can continue with I think you will go with the pro segment as well, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So the other product in the sort of adapter line is our Pro connector. or pro converters. And these are designed more for the rental markets because they need to be more robust and things that'll get trodden on or run over by a forklift truck. So exactly the same capabilities, but just in a metal housing. So we have a line in and line out, so the Euro block Phoenix block connector and a USB-A device. That's actually wrong on that presentation. That should say USB-A, not USB-C.
Okay.
But the functionality is exactly the same. It is a 2-in, 2-out device in the digital domain of using USB. And in this case, there are a series of dip switches on the side of the unit to be able to set the different attenuations.
So so as a question here, so it's 2-in, 2-out, you need to use the dip switch and then make it input or output, or
No,
is it
sorry,
like for each channel?
so it's the USB device is 2-in, 2-out as connected. The dip switches are for the gain adjustment.
Gain adjustments. Sorry. I misunderstood that.
No.
Okay, perfect. So they can work in and out at the same time.
With the USB connectivity, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And then as we move on, we have what we call our Miniola range, and these are true 2-in, 2-out, 4-in, 4-out, 8x8, and we have a larger 16x16 boxes. So they're designed more as sort of stage box type interfaces, and the replacement to the analog snakes that we all used to build for stage work and the bands we used to support. So 2x2, 4x4, 8x8. They have what are called combination TRS ports. So they will accept an XLR or a 1/4-inch jack on the input side. They're all PoE. And they have phantom power on all of the inputs. But they're all controllable via the GUI, so we can customize the performance and the responses and things like that within that environment.
Do they have any DSP on them?
Yes, they do. They do, but that's a slide that comes later.
Okay.
So let's touch on that. So we'll touch on that later. So yes, 2x2, 4x4, 8x8. We also realized that when we launched this product, we were going to launch it with redundancy, so 2 network connectivities for Dante. But we realized that many other manufacturers are doing Dante redundancy poorly, in a bad way, because they only had PoE on 1 network port. So if your network failed, then even if you have redundancy for the Dante network, you still wouldn't be able to switch over to the second port because you don't have PoE redundancy. So we held the product back for 3 months and re-engineered it. And now every product we make that has redundancy also has PoE redundancy on both ports. So both ports have power as well.
No, that makes sense. So, okay. It's perfect actually, because so we had redundancy before with the network, but with the PoE redundancy as well, it works really well.
Yeah. And then we obviously we make a 16x16, which is a big beast. It's a 2U rack mount device. And then someone asked us if we can make a Euro block version. So we have an 8x8 Euro block version as well. Exactly the same functionality as the XLRs, so balanced inputs, phantom power, but more designed for permanent installations where you would wire up. You don't need to be plugging in, plugging out every time. As we move on, so environments that we can use the Dante, the Miniola product line. Obviously, it's perfect for concert work and as stage boxes, digital stage boxes, and things like that. Because obviously, the input side can ingest the instruments and the microphones and everything else like that are used on stage. But at the same time, after your post mix and your foldback speakers could be fed back to the output side of the Miniolas. For the stage speakers and the monitor speakers for the individual performers as well. So it's a perfect use, and obviously you just have a network running between the front of house, the mixing desk, and the stage. So a very, very easy way to, which I'm sure lots of guys are already doing, because it's Dante audio. It's what it was designed to do.
Yeah.
We then have 2 different amplifiers. This one's quite nice and unique. It's a PoE plus powered amplifier. If you give it 24 volts, then it will run at 15 watts per channel. If you give it PoE plus, it runs at around 12 watts per channel. It is also a 2x2 Dante bridge. So as well as being an amplifier, it can also ingest ingest audio and make it available onto the Dante network. And really uniquely, those two inputs do actually have 48-volt phantom power on them. So for small meeting rooms, you could have the output running a speaker in the ceiling, but then a boundary mic or a ceiling mic also wired into the same box. That's your ingest into the system as well. So a really nice, flexible
Interesting.
product.
So, am I understanding it right? So this unit is a Dante amplification. So I mean, from Dante, I can use this as an amp for our
Yes,
speakers as well. But meanwhile, if I want to ingest any other audio, analog audio to my Dante network, these amps can be used as an input as well. Is
absolutely.
it?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. And
Yes.
obviously the phantom power makes it even more flexible and usable with professional microphones. Then we have its big brother. Its big brother is not PoE, because obviously it's running at 100. It's running at 150 volt, 150
Yeah.
watts.
Wow.
Exactly the same functionality. So 2x2 Dante bridge, but it adds the option of 100 volt or 70 volt line capability as well. So this is Dante to audio, Dante to high impedance, or Dante to low impedance speaker system.
So all of them has DSP, input, gain, output, EQ, as I can see. Yes.
Everyone has all the product lines that we've just spoken about have an 8-channel parametric EQ. So each device, each input can be customized to performance. Obviously, you would never build an equalization that looks like that, but it's just me playing with it to show you how flexible it is. But what's unique again about these solutions is within this AVR, within the API and within the GUI, you can save 2 different equalizations. So where that really works, if we go back to our divisible space environment where we have 3 small rooms or 1 big room, how do you EQ for that? Because obviously you could EQ for the small rooms, but when it's opened up into a big room, it will sound really, in theory, really tinny. But if you EQ for the big room, then the small rooms could sound really bassy. So by having those 2 different equalization, 2 different EQs per input and on the device, you can actually recall those within the API, again, based on whether you're using small room or big room environments.
Which makes sense really, because the sound can be changed according to the room. So if room has changed, you should change it as well with an automation. It's really good flexibility to have that let's say feature. Okay, so another question of mine is actually I can easily see that from the Dante part. I mean either Dante Audio or Dante AVA. So you have many solutions that you introduce to us in the same time. But I have another question, because all the AV projects can be time to time needs can be on Dante side. Time to time they need some other solutions without even Dante or something, even without IP time sometimes. So do you have any other solutions except Dante AV? Does Turtle give us a flexibility there as well?
Yes, we do. Because we recognize the same issue. Is like Dante is a great solution, but there are environments and there are projects that just don't need that cost or complexity. So yes, we do. So the first one is we have a very cost-effective AV over IP solution. It's an HD video only, so only 1080p, but it's 300 euros as an endpoint. So transmitter, receiver, and control box. It uses H.265, so the bandwidth is really low. You don't need a managed switch. You don't need the cost of an expensive switch to be be able to share it around the network, because the bandwidth is so low it can just sit flowing within the network all the time. Excuse me. We have EDID management. We have scalers to control it. We can do video wall capabilities with it. And of course, it's PoE or line powered as well. And it comes with its own control box. So we have a GUI for control. And I think last week we announced a Crestron plugin for this as well. So, but it's perfect. It's a great solution for sort of sports bars, houses of worship and churches, even cost-effective digital signage where, so let's go through the examples. Sports bars, 4K is a lovely idea, but realistically, as a bar, you're not there to show the TV, you're there to get more money in by people buying beer. So you don't need HD. So and the cost of doing so you don't need 4K, and the cost of doing 4K it can be expensive when you're running multiple screens in a bar environment. So Darwin is a perfect, HD is perfectly suitable. And the same with churches and houses of worship. They don't need 4K because most of the time, well, you're not there to watch the screen, you're there to be part of the worship and the service. So it's really a visual reinforcement device rather than a presentation device from that respect.
So sorry, interrupted. Did I miss it? So I have a question. Can they work as like the point-to-point, like without the Ethernet switch, like one-to-one encoding, decoding, or do they need the proper net?
They are better with a switch, for sure. But again, we're not talking about, you only need a gigabit switch. You don't need a managed layer 2 or layer 3 network switch, because it is such a low bandwidth. You can make it pervasive. You can make it available across the whole network all the time. You don't have to treat it like multicasting where you choose a video stream and only then is it routed through the switch.
Okay, perfect.
So the other application for this is digital signage. So what I've got 2 projects in here in the UK with football stadiums that have 60, 70 screens, but they only have 4 or 5 pieces of digital signage content they want to put out across the network. So obviously a digital signage box behind every screen is an expensive way of doing it at 500, 600, 700 euros. Whereas in the environment we've come up with is we're going to use 5 digital signage boxes playing into our transmitters then have our receivers behind each screen, and we've halved the cost of the project because we're not putting digital signage players behind every screen. And of course, it's 1-to-1 scalable. So you buy another screen, you just buy another receiver. You want another piece of content, you just buy another transmitter.
I see.
Other video products we do 2 types of video matrix video wall. So these are our 4x4 and our 8x8 video matrices, but they also have the capability of being a 1 to 2x2 video wall or a 4-to-1 multi-viewer, all in one box. So depending on the application you want, it's a simple one box solution. Open API, again, different layouts. You can customize, you have fixed layouts within the multi-viewer, but you can also build a custom layout to a maximum of 4 screens. And again, we have an open API and a web GUI to be able to control that. So I actually lent one of these to a friend of mine, excuse me, who did a big concert in the center of London. But the production company gave him a 1 meter wide space on his desk to be able to do the video production play out to the LED screens on the stage. So what he did was he borrowed one of my 4x4 matrix, built a video wall, a multi-viewer that had the 3 different outputs from his video servers and his PC that did all the timing and controlling, all within a 42-inch screen sat on the back of the 1 meter space. And he actually configured it to work off a Stream Deck as well. So he could very quickly, just by using the Stream Deck, pull up preset layouts for how he wanted to operate the space. But it made a very efficient working space for him and very quick to deploy. He was in an hour ahead of the concert, and he was out within 40 minutes at the other end.
Interesting.
Two other products that fit into this realm. We do USB extender kits, so inventively named Kit 1 and Kit 2. Kit 1 is just a very simple USB 3.2 extension. So host device, 3 USB 3 local connections, and then a remote connection over a Cat6a with another 4 USB 3.2 connections. Now, one of the things that I need to make aware is we always, in an industry, we always quote Cat6a cable as a structure. And that is for 2 reasons. One, obviously, it's a very resilient cable and is designed to work at these rates. But the other is because it's shielded. And as an industry, we don't use the shielding for shielding. We use the shielding for ground. And it's the same in AV over IP as well, and it will be the same in audio, just to a lesser Dante audio, just to a lesser extent. That shielding is really important because it grounds the transmitter and the receiver end to end. One of the in English we say it's an elephant in the room. The thing that nobody is talking about is earthing and grounding. As our screens become lower powered, UK and EU regulations mean they don't have to be earthed. So then our receive end doesn't become an earthed product anymore because it's traditionally it used the HDMI connection or the shield on the connection, the cable connection you're using to ground itself to the monitor. Once that grounding's gone within the monitor, that device is then floating at an earth potential that is different to the receiver. And in some cases on AV over IP with a previous manufacturer, I've actually had it where devices wouldn't start because they weren't requesting the right power, PoE power, from the switch, because they had a floating 0 point that was actually plus 5 volts. So they weren't requesting enough power to operate, or they would require enough power to operate, but then they didn't have enough power to kick in actually display video. And it was all down to not using shielded cable. So that's a drum I bang very loudly whenever we're doing these conversations. So
Interesting.
USB-C extension kit, fairly obvious to people as to how you would connect that. The more interesting product is our Kit 2, which can do video as well. So it's a USB-C input, DisplayPort Alt compatible. So it will work with Macs and laptops and provide video over the USB-C connection. We have what's called POC, so power over cable. You can power from one end or the other. And it doesn't matter. The opposite end will pick up power and operate absolutely fine. But we can also plug in up to 100 watts of PC charge, and it will provide that charge out of the USB-C host connection. We then have 2 USB 2.0 connections, and at the receive end, we have an HDMI out and another 4 USB 2.0s. So this is a great environment for doing what's becoming known as BYOM. So traditionally we had BYOD, bring your own device, and the room dictated the meeting environment that you had. So you built a Teams room or a Zoom room or a Google room. Now we're moving, the industry and the marketplace is moving to BYOM, which is bring your own meeting, and the room is completely agnostic and doesn't care what the meeting environment is. It's just there to provide you with a monitor, a webcam, a microphone, and a bunch of other bits and pieces. So this is the perfect solution for doing providing BYOM environments. At the local end, obviously you can power the laptop and the Mac, just obviously based on the conversation we've said. You could have a Bluetooth USB dongle with keyboard and mouse connected and a local microphone, and then at the receive end, you could actually have a meeting bar, and I've tested this. I've even tested it with a USB to Ethernet adapter, and my Mac got network connectivity to on broadband to the internet. Now, two things one thing that's really useful and one thing that we need to be aware of as engineers, obviously, is USB 2.0 is our return path from receive to transmit and to the host. So we need to be aware of our bandwidths of I think it's 450, 480 megabits is the maximum that USB 2.0 can cope with. So be aware. If you're trying to plug in a device that's demanding a lot of bandwidth, you'll then be limited on what other products you can plug in. But again, as engineers, if we're going in with the right knowledge, we can cope with that and we go in expecting it. The other thing is we actually publish an API for the service port. So it's in our instruction manual, and it allows on the receive end, it actually allows us to fix the resolution EDID of the receiver to match the screen. And why this is a good benefit is traditionally the host PC will always try and dictate a resolution to the screen, whether you're connected on an HDMI or whether you're connected over an extender kit. So the issue there is you always get an odd looking presentation that isn't the right layout or looks odd, or you even get a support call going, why is my presentation looking so crap? With this, you can actually fix the resolution, and then the receiver is dictating the resolution we need to the host PC, so we can guarantee that you get a fixed performance and layout.
Interesting, really.
Yeah, as a use case, but yeah, that's that we've been through the use case already.
Yeah, you already talked about that. So then, Chris, okay, so let me do a little bit explanation for our audience again, and then I will come back to you really fast with my last question most probably. Evet, şimdi şöyle ki birazcık da tabii İlk başta Dante AVA üzerinden Turtle'ın bize sunduğu çözümler hakkında konuştuk. Sonrasında audio kısmında gerek bu adaptörler gerek Miniola serisi ile üzerinden de geçtik. Fakat Turtle sadece Dante ve AV over IP üzerinde değil, hem H265 çözücüleriyle, Darwin çözücüleriyle daha affordable, daha uygun fiyatlı bazı IP, AV over IP çözümleriyle karşımıza geliyorken hem de Multiweaver ya da Video Wall ya da Video Matrix gibi bazı çözümlerle de hiç IP olmayan bazı çözümlerle de bize yeni üniteler gösteriyor ve hatta bazı USB Extender çözümlerinin de üstünden geçtik. Sorularınız varsa lütfen çekinmeden sorun sohbet kısmından. Yavaş yavaş webinarın sonuna doğru geliyoruz. Ben şimdi halihazırda bizi nelerin beklediğini Chris'e soracağım. Yani gelecekte Turtle'dan neler beklemeliyiz? Turtle bize neler sunacak diye onu soracağım. Lütfen sorunuzu yazmaktan çekinmeyin. Chris, we are back. And then my question is about the future. Yes, you come with this slide. Yes, what we should expect from Turtle in the future? What type of solutions Turtle will provide to us, or are there any, I don't know, secrets you want to tell us that nobody knows or something? So yeah, we are really excited about to hear what's coming up.
No, certainly no secrets, but what I would say is watch out for the news feeds that are coming for Infocom next month, because we do have another interesting range of products being announced there. So these are the sort of the products that we launched at ISE in February, and I've sort of just picked on 2 or 3 of them that are unique. The first is what we call Dante Domain Bridge, and this is really quite a unique product. So what it's actually going to do is it allows you to have 2 different Dante networks connected to the same box, and they are what's called air-gapped in the middle. So there is no crossover between those 2 networks, but you can log into the GUI and the API, the GUI and the web UI, and you can choose 8 channels from Dante Network A to pass to Dante Network B, and you can choose 8 channels to pass from B back to A. So the typical environment this will be used for is in a large conference facility or a meeting hall that already has Dante in it. And an event company will come into that building and they will bring their own Dante network as well. And what you don't want to do is open up the Dante networks to everybody in that building. So by using this, what you can do is you could choose eight microphone connections on the building side to pass to the event company. And the event company can then process them on their mixing desk and do everything that they need. And then the mixing desk can actually push the post mix back to the other network or to the building network, and make that available to the Dante speakers throughout the building. The other thing it can do as well is actually sample rate conversion on the fly. So it will be able to cope with a 96 kilohertz system dropping down to 48, or a 48 that needs to be scaled up to a 96, because at the moment, those two networks would not be compatible with each other. And these are just the GUIs where we can set the IP addresses and static names, and then you can choose the channel names and devices that pass between the two different networks, and our sample rate conversions between network A and network B. Then last summer we announced Downtown, and this is getting a lot of interest. I was actually in Pinewood Studios yesterday, talking to them about this product. So this is HDMI video in up to 8K with 10 channels of Dante out, and it has Dolby and Dolby Atmos chipsets in it, so it can do 7.1.2. 5.1.4, or you could configure it to do a 7.1 down mix and down mix to a 2-channel stereo for assisted listening and hearing aids and things like that. For those that know surround sound, you understand the layout graphics. So this is all built into our GUI, and we've recently had Dolby Atmos certification for this product as well. So and you can adjust levels and delays for each device to meet best performance within your cinema environment. Where it becomes really interesting is obviously lecture theatres and conference rooms are built with multiple Dante speakers in the space. But for movies, it's traditionally been really hard to actually make that a really good listening experience in the Dante environment. But with the Downtown product, this will allow you to really open up that room and give a good surround sound experience for movies or sporting events or whichever you want to do. 2 more products. We have Jeff. Jeff is named after the person who wanted it, and it is an XLR input phantom powered microphone preamp straight out to Dante redundant networks. So it has the same redundancy as we have on other products, same dual PoE, locking Ethercon connectors, and the 8-band parametric EQ, all within a housing that looks like a large vape bottle or a large perfume bottle. Designed for sports events or anywhere where you want to get ambient sound into the Dante network, but you want to minimize the analog leg of that. Obviously, this could plug straight into the back of a microphone, or you could have a very short analog XLR lead to Jeff mounted on the microphone stand or anything else like that. And then finally, we have our Bluetooth wall plate, Bluetooth to Dante with an open API for control. So we can actually control Bluetooth on, Bluetooth off, pairing on, pairing off. We also have a command that will forget the pairing, which is crucial in multi-user environments, as well as the same EQ and management and everything else. And it can do 96 kilohertz. So it's a step up from the products that do exist doing this, but also being PoE. It makes it there's lots of interest for this, and our first products are actually available in our warehouse this week. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's just our GUI for that product.
So that's perfect. Actually, even when I was talking about the Bluetooth and the USB adapter, so now to see the wall plate of the Bluetooth, so it gives me really, I don't know, like the possibilities like in my mind about the
Yeah.
projects and the stuff. So perfect. So I believe this is the end of the products, right?
Yes, it is.
So yeah, okay then. So let me do a little short Turkish explanation. That's what we
Certainly.
talk about the upcoming products, and then I will come back at you. Meanwhile, maybe the our audience will ask some questions, and I will ask them to you, even if they don't, so they can ask it whenever they want to us, and we can contact them with you somehow. Okay? Evet, arkadaşlar şöyle. Yavaş yavaş webinarımızın sonuna geldik. Son olarak da Turtle'ın bize gelecekte sunacağı bazı çözümler hakkında bilgi aldık. Bunlardan en ilginç olanı, aslında benim açımdan en güzel olanı Bluetooth Wallplate'iydi. Yani Bluetooth Dante Network'üne Bluetooth sinyalini aktarabilmeniz için Wallplate üzerinden e, bunu yapabiliyor olmanız. Bir diğeri ise Dante Domain Manager şeklindeki ünitesiydi. Yani iki ayrı e, Dante Network'ünü tek bir cihaz üzerinden birbirleri arasında sinyal aktarımını yapabileceğiniz üniteydi. Eğer varsa sorularınız şu an alabiliriz. Yoksa yavaş yavaş hem size hem de Chris'e veda edeceğiz. Ama sanırım ki gördüğüm kadarıyla yok. O zaman ben yavaştan Chris'e veda edeyim. Herhangi bir sorunuz olursa istediğiniz zaman bize ulaşabilirsiniz. İstediğiniz zaman tabii ki bu sorularınızı biz gerekli şekilde gerek Chris'le paylaşabilir, gerek sizleri bir araya getirebiliriz. Okay, Chris, we are back. It looks like there are no questions. And
Perfect.
then which means that it was a really good presentation. So everything was clear and everyone understood every product, so which is really great. Even if there will be any questions later on, they can contact with us and we can contact
Of
with
course.
you to solve their problem. So thank you very much, Chris. So it was a really pleasure to have you here. And then I'm really happy. Maybe in future we can do more of these webinars with you.
Or face to face, or actual come over to Turkey and spend some time with you guys and learn how you do it.
It would be really great. It would be really great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chris. It was really good to have you here. So see you later. Then I will close up the
Thank
session.
you. Thanks everybody.
Thank you. See you. Evet arkadaşlar, geldiğiniz için teşekkür ederiz. Webinarımızın bir kaydını oluşturduk. Katılamayanlar ya da yarısından sonra katılanlar için bir link yakın zamanda oluşturacak olacağız. Hepinize teşekkürler. Çok sağ olun. Daha sonrasında tekrardan konuşuruz. Herhangi bir sorunuz ya da düşünceniz olursa lütfen çekinmeden bizlerle iletişime geçin. Kendinize iyi bakın. Hoşça kalın.